let us begin with Sahana Bhavatu. And Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryamkaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Today I'll have just about 25 minutes now, because we have the teachers meeting, so that you can air your situations and the coordinators will try find a solution. Anyatha sharanam nasti. If nothing else works, then I'll come with a hammer. How many of you have driven a scooter in India? So when it doesn't work, what is the solution? You bend it down and kick it. So that is my solution for everything in life. If it doesn't work, bend it down and hammer it. So today, in the next topic that we have, it's about understanding the subject that we are. I had very briefly touched upon these layers last week. Did we have last week satsang? Last week. And instead of touching upon these layers, I went on understanding the samskaras and the necessity of samskaras. This week we will focus on the layers. There are several ways that these layers can be understood, where we are identified as and function from. Right? When you are with your child, what do you become? So in one of the sessions I asked, the father said, angry. And we laughed at it. Then I said, when you are with your spouse, what do you become? So he said, it depends, either scared or frustrated. Angrier. When you are with your spouse, you are the husband or wife. When you are with the child, you are the father. You are functioning from and as that particular identity. Isn't it? And our actions, reactions and responses depend on that identity. If there is this lady who is a doctor who has a scalpel in her hand, then it is a blessing to the society, because she uses it in the operation room. When it is a mother who has that similar kind of knife and a kitchen table, it is food arrangement. When it is a wife and it has the same knife, where we are and how we function as from decides our interaction with the world as well. So it is very necessary to understand where am I identified as and functioning as that subject. That clarity describes my role and thereby giving my clear path of responsibility that I have to fulfill. Isn't? All the Pandavas and Kauravas had assembled on the battlefield. Pandavas on one side, Kauravas on one side. Yudhishthira, it's a huge wide field, Kurukshetra. How many people had assembled there? 18 battalions, 18 Akshohinis. How many people in each Akshohini? Just to get you to the idea of how vast that area was. About 250,000 in one Akshohini. The one who can manage themselves, protect themselves, their chariot, their charioteer and their horses is called Rathi. The one who can protect themselves and half a battalion Ardharathi. The one who can protect the entire battalion and still attack with a formation and change it at ease is called Maharathi. That huge. Now 250,000 plus it was Chaturangini Sena. There were elephants, there were chariots, there were, what do you call them, cavalry, horsemen, and there were foot soldiers. So now into that add the quantity of horses, chariots and elephants. Now can you understand how vast they were spread? Like till the eye could see that the army was spread on both sides. The war was about to begin. Arjuna's confusion not yet unleashed. Yudhishthira comes forward, takes a bow, actually 3 bows, sorry, not 3 bows, 3 arrows, and shoots all of them towards the Kauravas. Not to attack, because the distance is so far. By the time you go to the other side and do what you have to do and come back, half a day would be gone. No, not joking, but it's quite a distance. So he shoots the arrow, because the tradition was, if there is anybody, even if it was in the opposite side of the army, and you have to offer your salutations to them because you respect them. And definitely the ones that he respected were on that side. Bhishma, Kripacharya and Dronacharya. 3 arrows. Not shot at them, but in front of them. That it landed right in front of the chariots. 3 in front of 3 chariots. The oldest one and the commander of the Kaurava army, who happens to be Bhishma, he steps forward and he demands, is this, that is supposed to be namaskara, offering your salutations, is this namaskar of yours, hey Yudhishthira, to the commander-in-chief or to your grandfather? And Yudhishthira says, of course it is to my grandfather. He says, if it is to your grandfather, then my blessings to you is Vijayi Bhava. That is what ticks off Duryodhana. What the heck? You are my commander-in-chief. my leader, and we are two parties. You are saying they should be victorious? मतलब हमारा क्या हुआ? सरकार, मैंने आपका नमक खाया है, अब मेरा क्या होगा? Do you know where I am referring from? Thank you. She was like, duh, Sholay. ये गुस्ताखी माफ नहीं होगी, बिठा के दिखाओ और आप भी देखो. Now, Bhishma's reaction was based on what? What is my identity? That identity decides my role and thereby gives me a clear path of my responsibility. So that knowing my identity as a subject is quintessential in every aspect of our life. Most of the confusion happens when we assume the wrong identity, take a different role, and end up doing that responsibility, fulfilling, thinking I was in that role. Panchatantra stories that were given to us when we were growing up, where a washerman had a dog and a donkey. Remember that story? The dog slept when the thieves came in, and the donkey, out of its honesty, what did it do? It brayed. It only later understood it would have been better if it prayed. Because for the untimely braying, it was whacked. Wrong role defines wrong responsibility, and the results are not going to be conducive. So, at every intersection, we function in different layers. How do we fine tune them? Samskaras. We saw that last week. Do you remember? How many samskaras are there? Rama, maar dala. Ayyo. 42 samskaras, of which 16 are mandatory. Starting from Pumsavana, Pumsavana being conceived, or no, one step before that. Vivaha first, then Pumsavana. First marriage is a samskara. Then carrying the child, Pumsavana. And what is the last one? Last rites. Antima samskara. That also is a samskara. That also well thought through. %99 of Hindus, we cremate. There are one or two traditions in every community where that is not the case, but it is only a very insignificant part. So when we cremate, all the five elements are redistributed to their nascent source. Space to space, air to air, fire to fire, water to water, and ash is left behind. We carry that. See, this Bharatiya Samskriti after independence started on a wrong footing. He said, go spread my ash all over the earth, all over India. Confusion started there. What should it be done? That the ashes should be taken to a river or an ocean, a perennial river or an ocean. Even disposing it, a very, very thoughtful process. You know, those filters that come in, what is the company? Brita. Huh? When you open the layers, do you know what is there inside? Charcoal, sand. Why do they put that? There is no better filtering agent. Oh, this is pollution. डेढ़ दिमाग समझ में नहीं आता तो चुप बैठ. It is not adding pollution, it is actually adding filtering into it. Not just that, the carbon is added into the fields as it turns into manure and consumes enough nitrogen, which when aerates through the soil makes it fertile for the next crop. So this water, which is enriched with this carbon, which purifies that water and also now enriches the fields wherever it goes. Again recycled for the next cycle of growth. When they say samskara, purifying, to that finer detail wherein the ecological system where I am an integral part is also taken care of. It is not reduce, reuse, recycle. One more important step before that is, if not necessary, don't use. It was an integral part of our way of life. I gave you the example last week of the neem sticks to be used as dantamanjan, charcoal powder, salt, biodegradable. Our rishis, they thought through it. So what are these layers? Vedanta focuses on these layers. One way of looking at it is physical body. Sthula sharira. Physical body. What is the nature of this sthula sharira? It goes through 6 formats of modification. Asti, jayate, vardhate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, vinashyati. 6 stages of modification. Everybody's body goes through the same kind of 6 modification. Asti, conceived. Jayate, after the 40 week, roughly about 40 week, the child is born, body is born, jayate. exponentially grows. It's only third month but requires 6-month old clothes, like that which is required for a 6-month old. Exponentially grows. Vardhate. And actually even now we are growing. We don't like that growth. Because up until one age it is, see, x-axis, y-axis, right? Up until one age we grow on y-axis. Afterwards we grow on x-axis. It becomes a complete round personality. Vardhate. Viparinamate. There are changes that happen. Here the change means what we call it as puberty, where the boy becomes a man, the girl becomes a woman. I don't know how to define it in the woke parameters. I will not touch that. I will go with a simple understanding. Man, the boy becomes man and the girl becomes woman. There is that change that happens. Viparinamate. There comes an age where apakshiyate, things start deteriorating. We have already crossed that threshold, all of us sitting here. Except one or two who are, you are not qualified. Rest of us all. Have you had your first strand of white hair? Swamiji, we are at the stage of no hair. What are you talking of first hair? That is where the change started. Glasses, contacts, not bipolar, what is it? Bifocal. Bifocal. We'll come to that in the subtle body, Sukshma Sharira. This is only Sthula Sharira. So the bifocal. Then the teeth start developing caves, caverns, stalagmite, stalactite, all the fungal growth. Teeth start falling. Appetite. We become seafood dietitians. We only see food. If we eat it, we cannot digest it. Apakshiyate. One by one, things start falling, failing. If you sit down, the old, it's like this door and that door when you open, pay attention. 20 years old. There is a sound that comes. So when we sit and stand, body makes. करता है कि नहीं? Then you reach to a point wherein every limb is speaking loudly. It's alive with pain. That if I get up and go in that direction, let me check all the things that have to be done that have been postponing to be done in that direction, because I can only get up once. Apakshiyate. Then comes the time when finally the body says, see you, tata, goodbye. Done. Finito. Right? The body fails. This is the constant modification of the physical realm. Are we identified with this physical sthula sharira? Very much. Since the time we saw the first strand of white hair, so identified. I don't want to look old. It started there. Oh, way before that. Fair and lovely. Now they have fair and handsome also. I'm not making it up. सही में है. For men also. Now you cannot sing हम काले हैं तो क्या हुआ दिल वाले हाई. You have to apply fair and handsome. Nobody wants to be treated as that particular age category that we have ever belonged to. Call a little kid a little kid. I'm big. अबे है तू 1.5 फुट का, क्या big? Men will not agree. I'm big. Hair is yet to grow on that fellow's face. He's already started shaving because he wants to look big. Doesn't like that age. Suddenly you get being called as uncle, auntie. Hey, किसको बोल रहा है तू? दीदी बोल. That is even fine. This was almost 15-20 years ago. I was traveling in India. This lady comes with 2 kids. One an infant, the other fellow is a tornado. And I can see that her luggage is still the other side. I was going to offer, do you want me to get that luggage in? But she looked at me, I don't know what she saw. She gave that infant to my hand. And this was in Telugu. Tatagaru, kasa jagratta. Ouch! Tatagaru means grandfather, take care of this little one, I'll go get the luggage. Because that luggage is too heavy, you will not be able to lift. Take care of this little fellow. Luggage is yours, child is yours, and I am being called. Identified with the body. Black should not be called as black. White should not be called as white. Brown should not be called as brown. And nobody in their particular skin loves their skin. White want to tan, tan want to white. What kind of a stupidity? Earlier I used to think that as Indians we have seen the British rule on us, therefore we have the psychosis that we have to look fairer, whiter. Nobody is comfortable in their own stupid skin. Because I came here, every strip mall has a tanning, what do you call that? That one. Because I always get confused between salon and saloon. Both are the same spelling. So whatever, you know. You said something, I already forgot the pronunciation of it. So the tanning machines. So at every layer we have discrepancies and confusions. This is just the physical layer. Now understand Sukshma Sharira and Karana Sharira. We will come to that next week. Because we are stopping midpoint, I have not concluded the topic. Can you please, one of you, remind me that Sthula Sharira is seen, Sukshma and Karana has to be covered. Can you please remind me? Thank you. I'll stop it here. You can have your teachers meeting. Don't leave immediately. If you are not the teacher, you can leave. But if you are the teacher, you have to. Well, one half is the teacher, you have to now stay with them. Please come.